The taxi stopped at St. Luke's Hospital just after sunrise. Anna stepped out, her coat still smelling of rain. Her eyes burned from the flight and no sleep. Inside, fluorescent lights hummed over empty chairs. She approached the front desk, voice low, trembling. "My father, Jonathan Miles, stroke. He was admitted tonight." The nurse typed, brows furrowing at the screen. "I'm sorry, ma'am. There's no one by that name here." Anna blinked, certain she had misheard. She repeated it, slower this time, the panic rising. The nurse checked again, then shook her head. No record in the last 48 hours. The words hit harder than jet lag ever could. She called Alina, straight to voicemail. Her chest tightened, air thin and metallic. Something was wrong beyond explanation. She grabbed her suitcase, stormed back into the street. The taxi driver glanced at her through the mirror. "Back to the airport?" he asked softly. "No," she whispered. "Home." The ride felt endless through the sleeping city. The streets of her childhood flashed by like ghosts. Cafes turned into boutiques, parks fenced off, everything changed. When the gates of the Miles estate appeared, her stomach turned. The house stood immaculate, like time had frozen it. Marble steps gleamed under the morning light. The front door was unlocked, as always. Inside, the scent of lemon polish filled her lungs. Her heels echoed against the polished floorboards. Voices drifted from the library, calm, deliberate. She pushed the door open and stopped breathing. Her father sat by the window, alive, untouched. Whiskey glass in hand, newspaper folded neatly. Robert stood beside him, smile too smooth to trust. "Anna," her father said warmly, "you made it." She couldn't speak, could only stare. Alina wasn't there. No hospital bracelet, no urgency. Just a desk covered in folders and contracts. Her father gestured to the chair across from him. "We have family business to discuss," he said. Her voice cracked. "You fake this." Robert raised a hand. "It's not what you think." She laughed once, sharp and hollow. "You lied about a stroke to get me here." Her father sighed, patient, patronizing. "It was the only way to make you listen." He poured another drink, ice clinking softly. "The company is struggling. We need your help." Anna's pulse thundered in her ears. Her entire savings gone for a lie. She stood perfectly still, forcing calm. Robert slid a folder across the table. "Just a few documents about the inheritance," he said. Her fingers brushed the cover, heart frozen. Every instinct screamed trap. But she smiled, controlled, composed. "I'll look them over," she said evenly. Her father nodded, satisfied with her obedience. As she left the room, the door closed behind her. The warmth vanished, only silence remained. And in that silence, the truth hardened like glass. They had summoned her not out of love, but greed. And this time, she wasn't leaving without answers. The next morning, sunlight sliced through the heavy curtains. Anna sat at the long mahogany table, untouched coffee beside her. Robert stood near the window, voice slick with practiced ease. "The numbers are bad, Anna. Lumber costs, shipments, everything's collapsing." He spread glossy charts across the table like weapons. "Our grandfather's trust could fix this. You hold the key." Her father nodded, eyes sharp behind the performance of calm. "Your inheritance matures next month. $7.2 million. He said it like it was nothing, like a family favor. Anna traced the rim of her cup, pulse steady but cold. "And you want me to sign it over," she said quietly. Robert smiled, charming as ever. "Temporarily, just to stabilize operations." She looked between them, nodding every twitch, every rehearsed pause. The lie smelled of desperation and bourbon. Her father leaned forward, voice low, persuasive. "You've done well for yourself, darling. It's time to give back." She thought of the years he called her foolish for leaving. Of the silence after she chose design over the family empire. Now he needed her, and he was still pretending it was about duty. She lifted the folder they'd placed before her. Lines of text blurred into a tangle of legal jargon. At the bottom, her name was already typed in bold. "You prepared this before I even arrived," she said flatly. Robert's grin faltered. "We had to be ready." "Ready to trick me," she shot back, voice hard. Her father's glass clinked against the table. "Watch your tone." Anna met his stare without flinching. "You watched me board that flight. You let me believe you were dying." Silence stretched between them, heavy and sour. Finally, Robert exhaled, soft and insincere. "Things got out of hand, but this company is our legacy." Legacy. The word scraped like broken glass in her throat. She remembered her grandfather's hands, steady on blueprints. He had told her once that legacy meant integrity, not control. She set the folder down carefully, as if it might burn. "I'll review the documents before signing anything," she said. Her father relaxed, mistaking composure for surrender. "Good girl," he murmured, the same phrase he used on clients. Robert clapped her shoulder, too forcefully to be affection. "I knew you'd see reason," he said. She smiled faintly, the kind that hides teeth. In her mind, the plan was already forming. That night, she'd read every line, every number, every clause. And she'd find what they were hiding beneath the polished words. When she left the room, her father's voice followed. "Family stands together, Anna." She paused at the doorway, not turning back. "Only when family tells the truth," she said. Upstairs, she closed her door and leaned against it. Her hands were still trembling, but her mind was clear. Whatever game they were playing, she wasn't the same girl anymore. And this time, she would play to win. The house was silent that night, too perfect to trust. Anna moved barefoot through the hall, light spilling under doors. Her father's study waited at the end, locked as always. She slid a small key from her necklace, the one she'd kept for years. The lock clicked softly, the sound of secrets surrendering. Inside, everything smelled of paper, polish, and lies. She switched on the desk lamp, dust dancing in the glow. Files lined the shelves, labeled in her father's neat handwriting. At first, it looked ordinary: reports, contracts, invoices. Then she saw the folder marked Holdings, Private. She opened it, pulse pounding in her ears. Bank transfers, offshore accounts, signatures she recognized. Robert's name appeared again and again, neat and confident. Millions moved quietly, hidden under expansion projects. Her throat tightened as she turned each page. The company wasn't failing because of the market. It was bleeding because someone had cut it open. And that someone was her own brother. Her phone buzzed, startling her. A text from Lena. "Where are you? Can we talk?" Anna typed back quickly. "Meet me in the garden." She replaced the files exactly where she found them. Downstairs, moonlight poured through the glass doors. Lena was already outside, crouched by the rose bushes. Her hands were dirty, eyes wide with worry. "Robert, been lying," she whispered before Anna could speak. "I found bank statements in Dad's office last week. He's been buying land under shell companies, overseas." Anna felt the ground shift beneath her feet. "How much?" she asked, voice barely a breath. "Enough to sink everything if he gets caught." Lena looked back toward the house, trembling. "I wanted to tell Dad, but he wouldn't listen. He said family loyalty comes first." Anna's heart ached at the innocence in her sister's eyes. Loyalty had become their family's favorite weapon. She took Lena's hand, squeezing gently. "Don't say anything to anyone," she warned. Lena nodded, eyes shining with fear and faith. Anna turned her gaze toward the windows upstairs. Inside, lights flickered in her father's office. He was still awake, probably drinking, pretending to fix everything. But now she knew the truth. This wasn't about saving the company. It was about saving themselves from exposure. The inheritance was never meant to help. It was meant to disappear. She looked back at her sister, voice steady. "I'll handle it, Lena. Just trust me." They stood there for a moment, surrounded by the scent of roses. When Lena went inside, Anna stayed. The night air bit her skin, sharp and cleansing. For years she'd run from this house, from its ghosts. Now she would walk straight into its heart. If her family wanted a war over legacy, she would show them how much truth could burn. The next morning, fog clung to the garden like a secret. Anna drove across town to the small house on Beechwood Lane. It belonged to Mrs. Mitchell, her grandfather's old accountant. The woman opened the door slowly, wrapped in a worn shawl. "Anna Miles," she whispered, eyes soft with recognition. "I wondered when you'd come." Inside, the air smelled of dust and old paper. Boxes lined the walls, marked with fading ink. "Your grandfather trusted me," Mrs. Mitchell said quietly. "He made me keep copies of everything, just in case." She led Anna down a narrow staircase into the basement. A metal cabinet stood against the far wall, locked tight. Her arthritic hands trembled as she turned the key. The drawers slid open with a groan, heavy with years. Inside lay ledgers bound in cracked leather. She pulled one free, setting it on the table. "Robert called them redundant," she said bitterly. "But your grandfather knew better." Anna flipped through the pages, breath catching at the numbers. Transfers disguised as construction budgets. Loans rewritten to hide withdrawals. Robert's signature appeared again, bold and practiced. Every expansion he boasted about, Anna murmured. It was all fake. Mrs. Mitchell nodded, eyes clouded with regret. "He was clever, too clever for your father to see." "But Victor, your grandfather, he worried this would happen." Anna took out her phone, snapping photos page by page. Each flash carved the truth into evidence. When she was done, her hands were steady for the first time. "Does anyone else know about these?" she asked. Mrs. Mitchell shook her head slowly. "Only you, and now the choice is yours." Outside, the morning light had turned cold and sharp. Anna sat in her car, scrolling through the photos. Every file was a weapon, every signature a confession. But she needed help to use them properly. She dialed a number she hadn't used in years. "Clara," she said when the lawyer answered. "I need your eyes on something." They met that afternoon at a cafe downtown. Clara's suit was immaculate, her tone calm but curious. "You look like someone about to start a war," she said. Anna handed over her phone without a word. Clara's brows arched as she swiped through the images. "This isn't mismanagement," she said finally. "It's fraud." Anna nodded once. "I know." They spent hours dissecting the ledgers, mapping the trail. By evening, another voice joined the conversation. Ethan, her college ex, now a financial crimes investigator. He looked older, sharper, carrying a quiet kind of certainty. "You realize this means turning on your family," he said. Anna met his gaze, unwavering. They turned first. He smiled sadly, pulling out his badge. "Then let's make it official." They outlined the plan until the cafe lights dimmed. When Anna finally walked into the night, her path was clear. She wasn't just exposing corruption. She was reclaiming the truth her grandfather built. And she would not stop until it was finished. Sunday morning smelled of polished silver and deceit. The dining room gleamed, sunlight trapped in crystal glasses. Anna stood in the doorway, watching her father arrange the table. Every fork, every napkin placed with surgical precision. Robert arrived moments later, whistling, briefcase in hand. He kissed Lena's cheek, all charm and counterfeit warmth. "Today's the day we fix everything," he said brightly. Anna smiled thinly, her mask perfectly in place. Her charcoal suit felt like armor, her heart beat like a drum. The air shimmered with tension disguised as civility. They sat, the four of them, pretending to be a family. Her father raised a glass. To unity, to legacy. Their lawyer, Mr. Collins, placed a thick envelope before her. "Just signatures, standard procedure," he said too quickly. Anna opened it, skimming the words she already knew by heart. The traps were hidden between the lines, exactly where Clara said. She took her time, letting silence stretch thin across the table. Robert shifted, impatient. Everything's in order, Anna. Of course it is, she murmured, turning another page. Her father's gaze followed her like a shadow. He thought he'd won, that she was too loyal to fight. She looked up, her expression calm, unthreatening. I'll just need a moment to review before signing, she said. That's fine, her father replied smoothly. We trust you. The clock in the hall struck 11:30. Right on cue, the doorbell rang. Lena started to rise, but Anna lifted a hand. I invited a guest, she said softly. Footsteps echoed in the foyer, measured, official, final. Clara entered first, flanked by two investigators in dark suits. Her briefcase clicked open like a gavel. Mr. Miles, Mr. Robert Miles, she began, voice even. These agents have questions regarding your financial activities. Robert's smile collapsed. His chair scraped violently against the floor. What the hell is this? He barked, reaching for the contract. An investigator intercepted, hand firm on the papers. Those documents are now evidence, he said. Her father's face flushed crimson. Anna, explain yourself. She rose slowly, each word cutting clean. You faked a stroke to manipulate me. You tried to steal my inheritance to cover your crimes. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? Robert slammed his fist against the table. We're your family. Yes, she said quietly, and that's why this hurts. The investigators moved methodically, collecting files and devices. No handcuffs, no shouting, just the soft rustle of justice. Her father sank into his chair, older by decades. The weight of truth finally bent his pride. Lena's eyes filled with tears, hands trembling over her plate. I didn't know, she whispered. I swear. Anna touched her shoulder gently. I know. She turned toward the doorway, ready to leave. Behind her, the empire crumbled in silence. Outside, sunlight spilled across the driveway like forgiveness. Birdsong filled the air, clear and bright, almost mocking. Anna exhaled, steady for the first time in years. They had played their final move. And she had already won. The hearing room smelled of rain and old paper. Anna sat across from her father, the silence thick as grief. His suit hung loose, his eyes hollow but proud. Clara spread files across the polished oak table. The court froze the company's assets this morning, she said. Her father didn't look up. How much did they take? Everything tied to the fraudulent accounts, Clara replied. He nodded once, slow, as if the world had finally stopped spinning. Robert's lawyer had called earlier, pleading for leniency. Cooperation might save him from prison, but not disgrace. Anna stared at the numbers, printed in black and white. 4.6 million misused, 2.8 in fake loans, 1.2 in ghost projects that never existed. The math of betrayal was precise, merciless, complete. Her father rubbed his temple, voice barely a whisper. I should have seen it. I wanted to believe him. Anna folded her hands, forcing control into her tone. Grandfather warned you, didn't he? He closed his eyes. He always saw more than I did. Clara slid a worn leather journal across the table. Your grandfather kept notes, she said, detailed ones. Anna opened it, recognizing the familiar handwriting instantly. Lines written in careful strokes filled the yellowed pages. Robert manipulates numbers. Gregory refuses to face reality. Anna must remain independent. She's the family's safeguard. Her breath caught as she read her own name. Her grandfather had built a plan for this moment. He had known the cracks would widen, the lies would spread. He had left her the tools to rebuild what truth destroyed. Clara's phone buzzed softly. The press has the story now. Her father flinched, shame flickering across his features. Your name will survive this, he said weakly. Anna shook her head. The name doesn't matter anymore. What matters is what we do next. She rose, gathering the papers into neat, deliberate stacks. I arranged lawyers for both you and Robert, she said. That's more mercy than either of you gave me. Her father looked up, eyes glassy, voice trembling. You're still my daughter. And that's why I won't hate you, she said softly. But I can't trust you again. The elevator ride down felt endless, the air too still. When the doors opened, the city noise hit her like sunlight. Outside, the rain had stopped. The streets gleamed, reborn. Lena waited at a cafe nearby, stirring cold coffee nervously. Heels clicked against tile as Anna sat across from her. He won't talk to me, Lena said quietly. Robert blames us. There are no sides anymore, Anna replied. Only right and wrong. Lena smiled faintly, her hands no longer shaking. I'm proud of you, she said. You showed me what strength looks like. They sat in silence, sisters breathing the same fragile peace. Days blurred into weeks, meetings, signatures, dissolutions. The empire of lies folded quietly under government seals. Offers came to buy the company name, but Anna refused them all. Some things were not for sale, not anymore. By the time the last file closed, the Miles legacy was gone. But in its place stood something cleaner, steadier, real. Anna looked out the window, rain streaking glass like forgiveness. The world kept moving, and so would she. 1 year later, the morning light spilled across Milan's rooftops. Anna stood on the terrace of her completed hotel project. Marble floors glowed beneath her hands, cool and solid. Below, the city hummed with the rhythm of renewal. Her phone buzzed with a message from Lena at Stanford. Finals done, coming to Italy this summer, save me a room. Anna smiled, the kind that came from peace, not victory. She glanced at the blueprints on her desk, the next restoration waiting. The Victor Foundation had its first 3 grants approved. Historic buildings, rescued one by one, each reborn with care. Clara's text arrived minutes later. All filings complete, you're free. The word glowed on the screen, simple and absolute. Anna closed her laptop, the past finally quiet in her mind. The future no longer felt heavy, only wide and bright. She looked toward the skyline, sunlight kissing every glass edge. Her grandfather's words echoed softly in memory. The strongest foundations are built on truth. She whispered back, I know and I'm ready. Then she turned, walking into the light. Building something beautiful from everything that had broken.